All right, week 9 college football breakdown. Good SEC rivalry here. Got Florida taking on Georgia. Georgia's the designated home team here, 22.5-point favorites in this spot. Very standard total of 56.5. My first reaction upon seeing side and total, the total seems a little bit high. I think this number does give a little bit of leeway. If Georgia is able to win this game and really pull away like 41-10, under cashes. I think if Florida is competitive in this game, probably going to come via their defense stepping up. I would have a hard time seeing them score more than, 17, 20, maybe 24 points. So right off the bat, the total seems a little bit high to me. You can't ever assume that, just because Georgia still, a playoff team, that they're just going to roll the ball out and smoke everybody every week. We saw that at Missouri earlier in the year. I will say that I do think Georgia's kind of gotten some of their kinks out of the way. I think that Missouri game was plenty enough of a scare to kind of get this team back into order. I really don't have a lot of long-term questions about this team. I don't think they're as good as they were a year ago. And, they looked as good as they were a year ago early in the season. So I've downgraded them a little bit. But as far as this matchup, I mean, what has Florida's defense shown these past few weeks to make me think that they're going to step up in this kind of matchup? I don't think they're bad defensively, but I mean, their pass rush is only solid. They're not going to step up well against Georgia. I think Stetson Bennett is plenty capable of picking apart this Florida secondary, mostly because he is going to have a lot of time to throw. But really the most concerning area of Florida's defense, in my opinion, is they've started to become pretty leaky against the run. That's not exactly something we saw earlier in the season. They got beat really in all facets of the game when they played LSU a few weeks ago. The last time we saw them, they just really haven't put together a very impressive 60-minute performance since that week 1 win against Utah. This Georgia offense has absolutely changed stylistically from what they were a year ago. I mean, Stetson Bennett is throwing for almost 100 yards more per game this year than he was a year ago. I mean, they're much more of a pass-first offense now, given some of the losses that they encountered at the running back position. And, they obviously got Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington, really good playmakers on the outside. I don't necessarily hate it. I would like to see them run the ball a little bit more because I do think they can take advantage of Florida's run defense over time when they consistently win up front. As far as Georgia's defense, no, they're not as good as they were a year ago. I actually think that Florida's running game is not going to get totally shut out of this game because you have Anthony Richardson. He's a huge threat as a runner from that quarterback position. I actually like the way Montrell Johnson, even ETN for Florida, those are more explosive outside kind of runners that I actually think could match up well. I'm not saying they're going to perform well, but it's not the worst style going against this Georgia defense. The ground and pound in between the tackles kind of guys are going to get smoked going up against this front seven. But some of those guys who can create explosive plays on the outside, Georgia hasn't been as dominant against those kind of guys. So, I mean, maybe Florida coming off the bye is really going to stick to a ground game here. They should, because Anthony Richardson is not a consistent passer. I said it all offseason, the most overhyped player coming into the year in college football. Aside really from that game against Tennessee, he's been incredibly underwhelming as a thrower this year. Georgia's pass defense specifically has probably been the strength of that team this season, and I would put them in the elite category. So Florida's path to keeping this game close is going to probably be to just run the clock, keep the ball out of Stetson Bennett's hands, and use Anthony Richardson a lot in the run game. Listen, in these kind of games, especially given Florida's struggles defensively, it's Georgia or pass. I'm not really interested in a side here. However, if I had to play this game, I would play the under 56.5. Florida's a very slow-paced team, and I think the path for them to stay in this game is actually going to be to slow things down and really just pound the ground game. Don't know if I'm getting to the window with it. I'm recording this on Thursday night. Going to finalize my card in the morning. My best look in this game would be towards the under. If I had to play a side, give me the Bulldogs. You see this shirt. Halloween's coming up. We got the Halloween theme. Head over to proud90.com. Unique but very comfortable polos as well. With the colder weather coming, also got a great selection of hoodies and quarter zips. Proud 90 has got all your golf apparel needs. If you see anything you like at proud90.com, use code Fordham at checkout. It's going to get you 15% off your entire order. Code Fordham at checkout is going to get you 15% off your order. Support me, support Proud 90. The rest of the information will be in the description below.